Ask any sports enthusiast if they haven't lived their every human emotion possible in the last 15 days. The reason you ask? Yes, it's Paris. But I hate to be the bearer of bad news. While it all looks amazing at the top, a brief look at the history of how Olympics have panned out financially in the past have an altogether different story to tell. Now, before I take you through that story, let us go back and recall how Paris won the rights to host the Games in the first place. Not just for the competing athletes, Olympics indeed is a huge deal for the people of the host nation as well. Let's take France for example. An independent study expected Paris to generate anywhere between 6.7 and 11.1 billion euros in net economic benefits. Other than that, 8.9 billion euros as net economic impact. Tourism was expected to contribute 30% towards this economic impact. Construction activities, another 28%, and organizing the games itself, a whopping 42%. The 15-day long event was expected to witness anywhere between 2.3 and 3.1 million unique visitors with some game tickets. Some 64% of them were expected to be French as per the study. Boston, Budapest, Hamburg and Rome all cancelled their bids to be host nations for 2024. This was because of a combination of individual, political and economic reasons. Only two cities remained in the race, Paris and Los Angeles. Frightened over the prospect of potentially not having a host country for 2028, the Olympics Committee went ahead and awarded Paris the 2024 Games and the 2028 Games to Los Angeles. We are recording this video right after that spectacular display of French music and culture at the close of the 2024 Paris Olympics, as Hollywood actor Tom Cruise took on the torch to light Los Angeles 4 years from now. The economic suitability or the return on investment from hosting an Olympic has of late emerged as one of the tougher questions for the Olympic Committee. A working paper of the Syed Business School published in March made certain important observations in this regard. The Munich Olympics, for example, held in 1972, had 23 more events and about 1,700 more athletes participating compared with the Games in Mexico City in 1968. Now let's look at Paris. It hosted about 10,500 athletes participating in 329 events, a more than six-fold increase in participants in events that have risen by a whopping 13 times. The story does not end there. The working paper also mentions that cost per event too has been on the rise. It cost Munich $5.5 million for each event in 1972. Now compare that with $79.6 million at Beijing in 2022. This is without adjusting for inflation. Rio, on the other hand, in 2016 hosted the most expensive Summer Games to date. It spent $23.6 billion. That was followed by London in 2012 that spent $16.8 billion. It is important to recall here the chain of events in the run-up to the Games in Rio. The Summer Olympics was expected to cost $3 billion. However, the planned infrastructure improvements instead cost the Carnival City about $13 billion. This led to cuts in healthcare spends and education, among other things, causing widespread public protests. Rio is not a case in isolation. Its predecessor London had a cost overrun of $5.7 billion, while its successor Tokyo in 2020 spent about $26 billion more than budgeted. It is pertinent to note here that one of the most essential elements of Paris's bid was its ability to use existing infrastructure. The city already has a quality sports infrastructure and a supporter base, as was clearly witnessed. However, ratings agency S&P noted that costs had already exceeded 25% or $1.8 billion even before the Games had begun. While the ratings agency does not see Paris avoiding the cost overrun, it expected the same to be limited. S&P, however, cautioned that operating costs would remain high. The first of these concerns emerged from the pressure on Paris's transport, as we witnessed right on opening day an alleged sabotage attempt on the city's metro system, and the occasional news of overwhelmed public transport systems leading to network disruptions, higher costs, and reputational risks. The other relates to cleaning up the River Seine. Swimming has been illegal in the Seine for more than a century because of its high pollution levels. Cleaning it up for the marathon swimming events cost France more than 1.2 billion euros. Hosting an Olympics other than the reputational charm have also been promoted to bring along short and long-term economic benefits. Take this as an example. An important criteria for hosting an Olympics is to be able to provide 40,000 hotel rooms for travelers and 15,000 for athletes and officials. And so, hosting an Olympics requires investing in both sports and supporting public infrastructure, which is expected to generate employment and provide an opportunity to hone further city planning. The International Monetary Fund noted in July 2021 that the benefits have proven inadequate to justify the costs of hosting the Games. It says the skyrocketing price tags and disproportionate revenue sharing between the Olympic Committee and the host country have generated more resentment than reward. More importantly, the IMF observed that long-term benefits have also proven to be elusive. A Deutsche Bank report too indicated that host nations of major sporting events like FIFA, the World Cup, or Olympics rarely earn positive economic or even social returns on their investment out of new stadiums and public infrastructure. The bank added that even in the short term, event-related investments come with disproportionately low income and employment multipliers unless the host nation happens to be in a recession. But do these games create a sporting legacy? The answer again is no. In fact, it creates what are called white elephants. Take for example South Africa, which hosted the football 2010 FIFA World Cup. It now struggles to ensure financial sustainability of the stadia it built for the event. And what can be said about the sporting culture? Its club leagues struggle to draw crowds, and its men's national team is outside the top 50 ranked countries. Another example is Beijing's Bird Nest, which cost approximately $450 million and now lies mostly unutilized since the Games. Perhaps the only success story could be the Queen Elizabeth Park in London, which became the home for the English football club West Ham United. With the Parisian party now over, it could potentially come back to contemplating what the future beholds. Though touted to be better managed and not expected to exceed budget costs as massively as Rio, London, or Tokyo, we only have estimates with us right now. But it is important to bear in mind that history generally has not been kind to the Olympic hosts. For more such videos, you can subscribe to The Hindu and follow us on your favorite social media handles. Bye for now.